So yesterday we were looking at setting up the guidelines, right? So what are guidelines used for? Defining.
Praveen, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Hey Kanchan, good morning.
Praveen, this is Kanchan. I missed the class yesterday, and if you can give a high-level brief quickly, that would be great. And
Yesterday we have discussed about what is an eligibility rule, as well as we discussed about guidelines. So we'll look into a bit more complex setup of guidelines that we'll discuss. So guidelines are mostly defining how much you should get, okay, based on a review rating or based on some conditions. You can say what would be the amount of hike an employee should get. Whereas if you look at eligibility criteria, as I said, it's more of an ineligibility rather than eligibility. So in eligibility rules, what we do is we define who is eligible for what or who is not eligible for what. So that's what we discussed yesterday. So coming back quickly to...
you go through the practical class yesterday or only theory?
No, obviously we've seen how to define them in the system as well.
Okay.
Right, so I'll just delete our sheets. Looks like someone has created, I'm not sure guys. You can use it or you can
Praveen, today you have to complete at 1 hour, so you started late, so I have to go after 1 hour, means my time 12:30, so it would be another 40 minutes only.
Okay. Yeah, I understand, because as I said, I mean, the internet was a problem here. I came at 7, but still this, I mean, system is not set up here, so it took us some time. So let's say, for example, what I'll do is I'll delete merit guidelines that we created yesterday or create a new one for today. As I said, this one will make it a bit more complex than we regularly use. Okay, and usually we have seen till now with a review rating as the criteria for defining guidelines. Today what we'll do is we'll use a rating as well as job level to define these guidelines together. Okay, so for us our criteria would be based on rating and job level. Okay, so we can use this one for merit guidelines. Type is merit. As you see, once you delete it, it will be available here, and the mode is amount or percentage. It's percentage. Make sure this one you select percentages. Okay, what happens is when you put by any chance you miss and you put amount, so they will take $1 or $3. This happened in a real time scenario. One of the guy put amount instead of percentage in one of the guidelines, and once they launch the forms, they see that they can give a hike of $1 to $3 or $3 to $5, which was ridiculous. So make sure you guys use it. So this is hard limit, yes, and then we want, yeah, so this is the settings. So then we go inside it and then we'll define the rules. Okay, so for this one what we'll do is review rating from 0 to 2 for vice president. Okay, so rating is greater than 0, less than 2. Okay, so the job level is vice president. Okay, so if you look at it, the condition has changed. Yesterday it was only based on a rating you're defining. Now you have a rating and a job level. That means the vice presidents, with their ratings, they get a different set of hikes. Whereas let's say an employee, regular employee with a different set of ratings, they have a different guidelines, because usually these are highly paid employees, those in that job level, vice president or so on. So it's at the highest level. So for them the rating might be very less compared to your normal employees. So let's create this is 2 to 3, or maybe I'll take it as 2 to 4, so that we reduce the number of formulas that we need to write. So rating is greater than or equal to 2 and less than 4. Okay, so this is again vice president. So the minimum is 1, default 1, high is 2. Then you got 4 to 5. Equal to 4, less than or equal to 5. So vice president again. So this is 2, 2, 3, 5. Okay. Similarly, you can add 0 to 2 RD. So this is 2. Job level is director. Sorry? 2%? What is that? That's very much high for them, huh? To be honest. Especially if you're outside, that's a good hike. 5% is a decent, very decent hike. I'm serious. So this is 2 to 4 again, and this is for RD. So this is RD, and you define of course you can give that. 2 to 5 RD. Okay, so this is this is 3, 3, 3, 6, 6. Okay, I'll just create these things for now. Okay, otherwise I have to keep adding and it will take a lot of time. So we'll define these guidelines for now. So what we defined here is we defined vice presidents and directors guidelines based on the rating. So vice presidents have a range of values, whereas directors have a different range of values. And so we defined this. Now what we'll do is we generate a worksheet to see how that actually gets generated. So all right, so we generated the form. So now we'll go and check. So we've got our compensation. So if you look at this one, the new ratings are available. So if you're vice president, so these are all vice presidents, so you see same set of guidelines. That's when I go, did I generate it only for Alan Thompson or for everyone? No, only for Alan Thompson. I'll generate for all of them. Sorry, I just missed. Or maybe I'll just generate for Marla. So we'll go and check, there are no ratings, right? So did someone work on the ratings? No? What will we see? I don't think we can see anything. Sorry? If these people did not give you? Really? I'll check. I'll just give you end of the class, I'll give you the password. So maybe what I'll do is, not sure which rating scale. Well, generate for everyone instead of Alan Thompson to see if that gets factored. Just launched again for head of planning as usual, so I just want to launch it for everyone. Okay, so we have this. What I'll do is I'll go to Alan Thompson. Guys, can you hear me properly, everyone?
Yes, Praveen.
Okay, it looks like there is some problem with the audio. Link is same, so it's meeting ID 794383397. So if you're connected, I guess should be more or less the same as far as I see. Okay, so now I just have a different set of ratings. If you look at it, so this guy got the latest one, 2 to 5. So we'll go and check a different person. Proxy now will go to Marla. So this is a good example where no one is on, no one is rated. That's ridiculous, guys. I don't know why this is not taking. Maybe because of guys, please put yourself on mute. Sorry? That's a performance review template. That's what you do in performance management. Sorry?
The other screen, what you are working now,
With a performance review, I'm trying to get the review rating, you see? It's
Why, Praveen, why it's not showing? Like yesterday, even I tried to give rating, but it's not.
I guess we need to complete the form before we launch it, so which we did not do properly, I feel. So guess that's something that we need to do. Maybe I'll see. Yesterday I was not working, so I could not do much. So I'll see if I can change something today. Okay, so anyway, so you know how this works any which ways. We have seen it so far. So the compensation guidelines are defined based on the rating and a combination of your job level. Similarly, you can use any other field as well, not just job level, to define your guidelines. So once we define the guidelines, so there's something that's very important that we'll talk about. It's budgets. What are budgets? Why do we use these budgets and where do we use these budgets for? So before I go and show something, let me show you the system ones. So when we go and check a compensation form, we define budgets based on either merit or lump sum or anything. You can define a budget for a bonus, you can define budget for merit. So this one plays a very key role. For example, when you look at a planner is usually given a lump sum of budget, right? If you are a manager, if you want to rate your employees, give hike to your employees, them as a planner, they give you some budget. You need to adjust all your employees' hikes within that budget. It's not like I can have whatever I want and someone else can have whatever he wants. So if you look at this here, so merit has a budget which is 6% and lump sum has a budget which is 10%. Okay, so if you look at what it says, there could be a difference actually. So this 10% of something else, it's not the total salary. If you look at it, so it's like, it's a different value. We need to see this. There's not 10% of this, it's something else. Sorry? And I know why it's 10% because these two people might not be eligible as well. 10% of whatever logic we need to put. So we'll see what logic is there in the backend. So what my requirement is, so you have a separate budget for merit, separate budget for lump sum. Instead, my employer said, okay, I won't give you separate budgets any longer. It's one budget, whatever you do. So I'll give you a budget for merit plus lump sum plus adjustment plus whatever. All of them should fit into one budget, not multiple or separate budgets. How do we do that? Is what we'll see now. We'll change the logic. So I'll show you how independent budgets will be defined as well as how one unified budget can be defined. Okay, so let's see that. So now what I show you is what we have already seen till now. So if you look at this, so we got a budget for merit, budget for lump sum. So it's a 6% of current salary, that's 10% of current salary. You also have direct amounts. So what we'll do now is we'll define a budget separately. Sorry, we'll define one single budget for all our salary sheet options. Delete it. Good. So we deleted it. So we only have budget for stock options and bonus. What we want is a budget for salary sheet as well. So I can define a budget for percentage of current salary. So this will be used for salary sheet and the one that's included is merit. Whereas I said I can define it for merit plus lump sum plus adjustment. You see how? So when I include all these components, so this becomes one single budget for all these components whatever I checked. Okay, so it's like you can have independent budgets wherein you just select merit, you don't select anything else. Whereas you can also select multiple fields so that you're defining one single budget for all the components that you see there. Is that clear? Everyone? So what I'm defining here is, if you look at it, I'm defining one single budget for merit plus adjustment plus lump sum. So budget value is, let's say, 10% of my current salary. It's based on, let's say, template. That's for the complete template. Whoever is using the template, so budget can be defined. You can also define the budget for user. So for a particular planner, you can define a single budget, or you can define for a group of people. Okay. So, or we define it for the whole template. Whoever is using the template, they will have a similar budget calculation logic. I've got, sorry? For template, we usually define a logic. I mean, we can't be like, I mean, you can say logic. When you put a logic, it's like you define logic more or less similarly. Because when you're talking about percentage of current salary, so if you are having a small team, so you take part of your employee salary. So it's like defining a middle amount or a middle layer. So you see, my company's, what is it called? Average appraisal is, let's say, 6% in this year, is what your company says. It's like a median of all the values, right? It's like average of all the values. So your company will give you an average value as a planner, and then you take someone above it, you bring someone below it, and then kind of bring everyone to that level. You don't cross this budget value, but you can put someone above or below. But at the end of the day, you bring everyone on an average to this one. That's what budget is used for, right? So I define 10% here. You've got advanced options. This is important. So you can include ineligible. Yes, no. So when you see no here, that's why your lump sum was showing, even though it's 10% of the budget, it was showing only 24,000. Why? Because the few people who are not eligible. So whether you want to include them, sometimes yes, you can include them. If you don't want to include them, you don't include them. Okay, whether you want to prorate your budget as well, of yes, you need to select it. And then, yes,
Here
sorry.
given as template, but where we had assigned that specific template or formula for this template?
Sorry, what does that mean?
Here we said that based on the template, right? So
Yes, the template is nothing but the form that we're using.
okay, form. Okay, okay.
The compensation template. When I say template, it's a whole sheet.
Okay.
Okay, so you can define this. You can also add a label. You can select a default label. This is salary sheet budget. You can define the label so that you see this one. Okay, so you define it, and you have got rules. This is very important. What are these rules? So you can use this for all the values, for budgets, all type of budgets. So what is this rule talking about? Rule is allow exceed. Exceeds the budget. What do you want to do? Whether you want to allow the employer, or planner to save it and send it to the next level, you want to give him a warning message or an error message, how do you want to do that? You allow. When you say allow, you allow a planner to go beyond his budget and define some rating, some values for appraisal. Whereas if you say warning, it allows you, but with a warning message saying, okay, allocation total exceeds budget. So do you want to save it and send it? So when you say warning, you see the warning message. When you disallow, it becomes an error. In the first place, it won't save at all. It says you're exceeding the budget. Okay? So this is like a rule applicable for all the budget calculations. So if someone exceeding the budget, what you would like to do? Usually I would like to disallow through a warning. So if you say allow save on budget S and say then you need to better select allow or warning, so that You're allowing an employee to planner to save the form even though it exceeds the budget. And this is a message which it displays here. If you want, you can change this in text as well. You can say you exceeded budget and you're not allowed to something. Okay, so you can change it. We'll see that updating later. So I have this rule. Now what I'll do is I'll go create a worksheet. Okay. So we have our form generated.
Praveen, I have a doubt here.
Please go ahead.
Do we have an option to link all these rules with a specific template?
Sorry, do you have an option to link?
The rules that we are defining here, budgeting rules and all, to link
All
that
of,
particular.
yeah, of course, all of them are eligible only for the template that we are using. It's within the template, right?
Yes, but what if you're working with multiple, generating of multiple templates at the same time? Will that
See, you might generate multiple forms. This is a form. A template is the one that where we are working everything. So you can have multiple templates as well. If your company has got multiple templates based on different locations, then yes, you will be having multiple templates. In that case, you need to define these rules at a template level.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like,
Yes.
where do we define that if we simultaneously work with multiple templates, like
I'll show you.
when we generate for all?
I'll show you. No, it's not applicable for all the templates. If there is a rule that's applicable for all the templates, you need to define the rule in all the templates. I'll show you what you're talking about or what I'm explaining. So now let's come back a bit. We'll take that question. We'll park it for a second. We'll go there once we're done with this explanation. Okay. So if you look at this one here, the employee's current salary, or the total salary for all the employees is 555,000. Right? It's not one employee salary. Don't say it's all the employee salary, so that's okay. So it's taking 10% of the current salary. So this is the current salary of the employees for the whole group. So it is taking 10% of the employees, including ineligible people. So that's how a planner will get the budget. Now you can start allocating budget. If you look at it, it's not only merit or it's not lump sum or anything. It's including everything. So for example, let me show you. I'll put some value in lump sum. You see it's getting updated here. You see? Right? Similarly, it's also here. It's getting updated here. So it's not just here, that's red because you don't have a guideline and you put some value. Right? So it's going above the guideline, which is a different story, which we'll see later. But if you look at it, whatever I update out of adjustment or lump sum or merit, it's updating my budget. So my budget consists of all the components, not just one component. Okay, is that clear? So that's how you define budget for a group of components. So you can have one budget for one component or you can have multiple components in one budget. So whichever way, the budget concept is same. Only thing is whether you want it for multiple components or one component is what you need to look at. So coming back to the question. Yep,
Yeah,
sorry.
can you please show where exactly we link the template and the budget setting?
So these are your templates. The ones that you see on the left side are all templates, different templates. The one that we're using is this one. We are in a template now. When I select 2015 July compensation, that's a template. That's a form, okay? That's a compensation template that I'm using. Within the template, you've got your own set of fields, rules and logics and everything. So whatever I define here in this particular template are only eligible for this template.
Okay. Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So this particular template is for 2015 July compensation template. You can have multiple templates, as you see. Let's say, for example, there might be one that I worked on in the month of May. So this is May's template. So here you've got your own logic for budget and everything. So this is a different calculation that you have compared to what you have in our 2015 July compensation. Every template has its own set of logics, rules, fields and everything. A template is unique, which will be used for a group of people. Is it clear?
Yeah, Praveen. Thank you.
Don't get confused with template, form and all those things, okay? Form is the one that we're generating. We see I'm generating version 17, 18, 19. Usually we call that a form. Template is this one. The main structure. For example, if you go, you can download the form template. This is your XML. This is your XML that we are working on. So anyway, so if you want to download the XML, just download form template. It will download it in XML, and you can see the form template has its own set of characteristics. Right. 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 Okay. So you have got a 2015 form template. You want to add, let's say 2016 next year. How would you add it? So go to compensation home. You add a compensation plan. You upload your XML file. Simple. So you have a template, XML template. So we get it from SAP at the beginning. Once you started, what we did in a pre-work, we have opened an XML which is standard. We modified it a bit according to our requirements. We uploaded and we're customizing it now. Whatever we're doing now is we had an XML file. We're modifying XML, but we're doing it from a front end, ideally, because compensation no longer uses XML part, except for bonus. Somewhere I'll show you. Otherwise, we don't touch XML. Whatever we can do in XML can be done from the front end itself. Form would be available. Exactly, that's what we're doing. So this is also an XML file. So 2015 July compensation is an XML file. We uploaded it at the beginning and then we started modifying it. Okay?
Praveen, I
Right.
have one actually.
please go
Like
ahead.
most of them might be knowing it might be a silly doubt. How do we move this particular template from test to PRD? We are going to recreate this template in PRD, or else we are downloading somewhere and uploading in PRD. How exactly we are copying from test instance to PRD instance?
Good question. So you know who it is? It's Shiva?
It's Vinay.
Vinay, okay. Hey Vinay, so it's like, as I said, you just go to compensation template. You go to your form template settings. You can download the form template here, which is an XML file, or you can also go back to admin tools, go to form template settings. So question is, how do you move the template from test to production? Okay, so if you'd like to move the form from test to production, what you need to do is just go select your form where is 2015 July. So this is 2015 July compensation. You want to move it to production. You download it. It's available in XML. So you upload it again in production. You don't need to make any change there. Is that clear? You just launch it. Once you upload, you just launch it. Because whatever changes that we're doing in the form, like setting a budget, setting up, maybe just give me a second, I'll open it. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen. XML pad. So we just defined a budget, right? What is the budget that we define? We define one budget for merit plus lump sum plus adjustment with a name of, what was the name? Salary sheet budget. Right, so we should see that here. If it's available here, that means the XML is auto updated based on the changes that I'm doing in the front end. Similarly, I can also show you the guidelines, right? So let's see it in the XML. Budget rule. So this is, this is warning that we just defined. So we have a warning message, right? So you said allow and say warn and then define a message. Allocation total exceeds budget. That's something that we have seen previously already. So this is budget label. So merit plus lump sum plus adjustment. So this is the one, huh? Three components, merit plus extra plus lump sum are technical fields. So this is salary sheet budget, you see here. So that lump sum or adjustment is a label. Technically in the back end the field name is extra. So similarly we've got comp calculations, right? So it should be somewhere budget calculations. We got 4 budget calculations. The one that we created for salary sheet is here. Merit plus extra plus lump sum. Percent of current salary. It's based on template. And what's the percentage? 10%. Is it including ineligibility? Yes, we did. Proration false. These are all parameters that we define. And it's 10%. You see, this is what we defined so far. So it's updating the XML in the backend. So that's what I said. You don't do all this to and fro stuff in production. Just make the changes, all of them in test instance, and then download it and then upload it in your production. That's what we do. Okay? Is it clear? So now you have the XML file. Once you go to production, you upload the file and the form is available. You just generate the form for the users, create worksheets, launch the forms, yes. Alright, so I hope that's clear, the question for all of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Ravin, another, sorry for that. The thing is, like in test instance, we are selecting a set of users as a destination for this form, and in production, we are again changing that particular set of employees.
So employees is a master data.
Yes.
The set of employees that I'm selecting is a master data. When I go and create worksheets, it's my master data. So that will not go to production. I can launch form. It's only in my test instance for the employees. So when you launch it in production, you need to choose the right person. So this particular part is separate. Even if you go to production, you need to start generating form. You need to launch form for the right set of people. So whatever we're doing in the test audience. All the people are test system, right? So whatever data that we have is a test system data. When you use the same form in production, you generate it for real employees.
Praveen Babu here. Before
only
we
template. Okay, go ahead.
go ahead, Vinay.
Actually, only template is generating in PRD. It seems that, and in PRD, just we need to select another set of employees. Exactly.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Oh, fine.
Because anywhere in the system, we don't talk about employees. Employees is a master data which should separate from different systems. We can't launch a form in test and say it's available in production. No, it's not. What
So
we're
this
doing
is
is we're testing it.
performance management also.
Same applies everywhere in any HR technology.
Okay. Fine.
Production data, master data is separate from different systems.
So, Praveen, in such case, can we say that after uploading into the production instance, do we need to directly come down to the manage worksheets and do the assignment part?
Yes, of course. That's what you have to do. Okay. You have to come to, in production, once you upload the form, you need to come and create worksheets. You don't change it again. You're not supposed to. In the sense, I won't prefer you going and making changes in production because you can't test them. So it's always preferable to do it in the test instance, do all your testing, generate everything. Once you think the form is ready, then only take it and upload it in production. You can't delete forms like you do here. In production, once you launch a form, you can't delete it unless until it's like mandatory, because it's like you're launching it for employees. Your planners might have planned something. If you just delete a particular plan, it's gone. Sorry? Usually, that's what I said. As an administrator, we have a lot of privileges to delete and do something, but you don't do it. That's what I mean. You should never do it. The forms have to complete, have to go to different people, have to complete the whole process. Then only it works. Okay?
Praveen, see, once we actually the template, once you from the test environment, you will put it into the production environment. If we put the template, do we need to copy the forms as well? Don't they
No.
automatically get
Forms will not be available. Once you copy to production, the form is a master data. You see this manage worksheets you're talking about, right? So
Yes.
these forms will not be available. There's a master data. There's a master data for me in compensation. I don't copy master data. These forms are only available in test. But this plan setup that you see, everything, the logic and everything is coming from your XML. Once you upload, the form template or the XML or the logic or everything is there. Master data has to be created.
Okay.
That's
okay,
when you
right.
launch the forms.
All right. Okay. All right.
You launch forms. The launching form part is a master data part. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes. Thanks.
I mean, let's say we have appraisal system, and usually we will have one template, right? And that consists of all salary changes, promotions, whatever. But we are talking about this template only specific to a compensation. Let's say someone's salary is at 10 lakhs and it has been increased for 5%. Even there are changes in variable pay also. So how we are clubbing all these things? Like we have a separate module in variable pay. We have even objects, whatever appraisal objectives we will define. That is there in another module, right? It seems.
No. So there are a couple of things which we're clubbing. Variable pay component is actually as part of bonus. It's a different module within compensation, which is used by usually these complex organizations where their variable components are defined based on too much of complex calculations, which is not possible in SuccessFactors compensation module. So that's why they use the variable pay module. Especially you have got quarterly incentive plans, annual incentive plans, which takes a lot of calculations, and you arrive at a number. We can use bonus calculation in our compensation management, which we are yet to go there. So there, the bonus calculation is pretty straightforward. You can define a percentage based on your achievement and everything, but you can't define calculations about your bonus target itself. The bonus target has to be manually defined here. Like you need to say whether it's 10%, 12%, that's it. But there are companies where it's not just 10% is your bonus. There could be complex calculations to arrive at your bonus, especially for the top executives, right? Where the bonus part is key, and there is a lot of complexity involved in defining the bonus. For them, the variable pay module will come into picture. Coming back to your question about all the components that you see within an appraisal. See, appraisal is what? You need to define it. So we go here into your compensation sheet. An employee's component, salary component, is defined here. So usually what you change for an employee, you change basic salary, and if there is a dependency of basic salary on, sorry, if there is a dependency of basic salary for other components, let's say for HRA, special allowance, in India case, usually in US it's all one component. But if you look at India case, since you are talking about India, so in India case you might have HRA, special allowance, and all these things. So how do you define it? So if I increase my base salary, everything else will increase, right? That's the way the formula is defined for Indian salaries as well. It's not nothing new. HRA is 30%, special allowance 40%. You define something like that.
Okay.
It might depend, as you said. If then you need to see how you have to work out. You might take annual salary and then put the annual salary, and then you might have to derive the components. That might be a bit different, but usually this is how it works. So the total salary of the employee will be defined here. What is its current increase, and what is it final employee? What is the total pay going forward from this year is defined here. So you can take the annual salary of an employee as a source, and then you can split it based on how your company works. If your company derives everything from basic salary, you don't have a problem. If not, then yes, you have a problem.
Okay.
For any other country, usually it's basic salary. Nothing else will be part of your salary.
So it means if someone, the customer want to go for any appraisal, a talent system in this, then he has to go for all the modules like PM, GM, because he has to set up a goals, then you go for a compensation, then he has to go for a variable pay. There is no other way to.
GM is one module. It's not two modules.
Yeah, that's what. PM, GM.
GM is not two modules. It's one module. Performance management and goal management go together.
Right.
Compensation is a separate module, yes. So you
And
do it. Variable pay is used, as I said, by 2 to 3% of customers, or maybe 5% of customers who are using compensation. As I said, it's usually the typical big companies with complex compensation setup. Like for example, Nestle is one example, which is trying to implement variable pay. There's big organizations who has, especially the top level executives, have complex bonus calculations. For them, they will go with variable pay. Otherwise, that's fine.
Yeah. Because they have all these three modules: PM, GM, compensation, variable pay.
Right. You're right. Yes. Okay. So that's how you define your budget. So we can define budget separately for bonus sheet as well, which I guess we'll see tomorrow. We'll define a budget for bonus. This budget can be a bit different. We need to work on this one. I'll explain, because I'll explain this better when we go to our bonus calculation part. So you can define budget separately for different components, as you see. Okay, is that clear? So someone asked a bit early rather than going till 8:20 because they have to go. So
hi Praveen, Ritu here. I have got a couple of questions.
yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry, I couldn't attend yesterday's and most of the today's session because there was some problem with the audio. When can I cover up those, I mean, these two sessions? Um, are you going to take the
Uh,
classes next
That,
batch or
that also that also for me, Praveen, if you have any plan for half an hour, I also missed yesterday's one, so that would be really good. Thanks, Ritu.
as of now, I don't know, Ritu. I'll let you know. It might take some time, so I'm not sure when I'll cover the same things again. So we need to see how we can take this.
Maybe in the weekend, Praveen, if you are taking maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can give a brief of that.
yeah, I mean, if you can
Yeah,
cover half an hour's time, any day will do for me and confirm.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. As of now, I don't have any plans this weekend. I'm not available, so I'll see when I can take and I'll let you know, guys.
Right, and Praveen, I have sent you a couple of emails on business rule handbook.
Yeah, I
So
saw that, Ritu. I was, as I said, my internet was not so good to upload huge files, so I could not do it. Yesterday was not working, so I'll do it today for you.
thank you. And when are we going to finish compensation? How long will it take?
Compensation next week. We'll complete by next week.
Right, and what about that EC pending class?
EC pending class, I'm thinking of Thursday, 8 o'clock. Guys are okay?
Yeah, that will do for me, but you can check with others also. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking for other people only because others to give the confirmation.
Right,
So
thank you.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Even
I think
1508, when it end of the month
Praveen, just a
or
suggestion. It would be better because that EC class, the last class of EC, if you take that on the one of the weekend, even if it is not possible this week, maybe next weekend, that would be better because it would be probably 2 hour session as you said earlier, right? It would be more than 1 hour. So on Thursday, there are already one EC compensation class. It would be too long and going another class on EC.
Right, let me check with the group. I'll send an email so that people can respond back. Or meanwhile, you can
Praveen,
also
actually,
discuss and let me know the time.
weekend
That's
is
better.
not possible.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
Ritu. So I'll just see when we
No,
can
no,
do it.
it's Gayatri here. Actually, this two
Oh, Gayatri,
weekends,
okay.
it's not possible. Actually, I'm traveling, so it's not possible for me even.
Sure, Gayatri. I'll take everyone into consideration and then we'll plan it.
Maybe we can do it on Thursday if all are okay with that.
Let's plan for it. Okay. I'll send an email and then people can respond back with your options. Then we can plan accordingly.
Thank you.
Praveen, this
Thank you.
1508 usually will happen in the beginning of the month or end of the month? How it will be? The changes
There
will
is schedule for that actually. So 1508 might happen third week or first week of September. I'm not sure about the exact date. Usually it's the third week, if I remember correctly. Last time the release was a bit delayed by a month. So if that impacts this current release, then it might be end of this month or early next month.
Praveen, just to understand what topic did you cover yesterday and today, so that I'll just write it down that I missed this one.
We discussed about eligibility criteria, we discussed about guidelines, and we discussed about budgets.
Right. Thank you.